Our guest today is Andrea Virgin. She is the president of the board of the Boca Raton Center for Arts and Innovation and president and founder of Virgin Design. It's wonderful that you were also a ballerina. Can you tell us how the qualities that were necessary as a dancer influenced you in the business world?
Creativity in any sector is hugely important. Thinking outside of the box and thinking creatively is all the more important today than it's ever been.
That's why the A was added to STEAM, because we want our educational programs to instill the idea of creativity being an important factor. Other things that have really applied to my business background and experience have been my discipline that I learned from my ballet world, time management, the ability to get up when you fall down, and the ability to present to small and large groups. I can't tell you how important that is.
Speaking of combining your worlds, that kind of is what's happening right now, and it's a huge project. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
For too long, Boca Ballet and all the organizations kind of within a 50-mile gap between Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach have been performing out of what I like to call the cracks and sidewalks.
Boca didn't have an arts center. They didn't have any facility that was like this, much less a performance space.
It's not only really been difficult for the cultural organizations to thrive here, but also because the people of this area take their money and leave. So it's important not only for our cultural organizations to have this type of infrastructure, but it's hugely important from an economic development perspective. This type of infrastructure is what's considered large-scale commercial development. And people think, a theater is just a theater, but it comes with, in order to bring it from the ground up, is a huge effort.
Can you tell us a little bit about the facility itself?
So this facility is what we like to term a center for the next 100 years, not a center for the last 100. The reason why this infrastructure is so different is its multi-form nature, its flexible architecture. All of the spaces that are proposed through this center, and there's 6 of them, will be highly flexible. Your 4 walls, your ceiling, and your floor will all be able to adapt to accommodate any type of configuration that you can think of. So there's an existing amphitheater there. So in addition to functioning as an amphitheater, it will close off and be able to function as an interior black box. The other benefit is that you can actually use it simultaneously. So the facade of the amphitheater, when you close it, can be used for a film screening or from a broadcast of going on in the main hall. There's also a big canopy that will also allow that space to be programmed more days and more nights of the year, because in addition to having a weather covering element, we'll also be able to shade when it's sunny. It has kinetic elements that allow for wind to come in and cool a space and heat that rises in a space to leave. It also has the ability to create what we would call a third space in architecture, which is not indoors, not outdoors, but something in between that doesn't require the use of an HVAC system. Then you've got the new center, which is on the vacant parcel next to the amphitheater, that will have a main hall that can accommodate up to 1,100 patrons in its traditional proscenium configuration, or can completely suppress, or can have any configuration that you can think of in there. You have a small 99-seat jewel box space that can be a rehearsal studio. It could be a small performance space, more for educational, more for intimate programming. There's a rooftop terrace, there's an outdoor lobby, and then some other small spaces that can be programmed for varying uses. Wow. So, or you can program them all together. Because of the use of broadcast technology and simulcast technology, you'd be able to use all those spaces simultaneously. If your imagination can think of it, it can happen in the center.
Technology is moving ahead so quickly. The possibilities are kind of endless, and the arts are changing.
Art and technology are fusing together in ways that are really unprecedented, and infrastructure has to be able to keep up with that. We have to be giving people a reason to get off the couch and get in their car and drive through traffic and make their way to the theater, not only through our programming, but through the infrastructure itself, because we're going to be vying for their attention, and it's going to be increasingly harder to do that when you have streaming content at home. But how are we choreographing, how are we programming our way into the future and for that next generation of audiences? And the best way to do that is having cross sections with technology and innovation. And I hope that through this new center, we'll be able to provide the platform in order to be able to do that, whereas maybe some of the other pieces of infrastructure may not be able to do that.
Your center is probably going to open the door to all of those possibilities. So it was such a wonderful vision and dream. I can't wait to see it realized.